It'll help us to organize the questions and answer them a little bit more efficiently. This morning's presentation is going to be given to you by Matt Ponto, who will introduce himself in just a moment. Hey, Matt, are you ready to start?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So, as Rita said, my name is Matt Ponto. I'm a field applications engineer here at Radiall, and today we'll be kicking off this webinar series comparing rectangular connectors with your standard circular connectors. So here's our rules of engagement for this presentation. The first thing to note is that a recording will be available after the webinar. We'll be uploading it to YouTube under the Radiall YouTube channel. Second, was going to say use the chat box, but for some reason the chat box isn't working. So as Reed mentioned, and we'll mention again at the end of this, we'll give out his email and mine as well, that you guys can send some any questions that you might have to our emails, and we'll be able to answer them then. And then lastly, just make sure to share on social using hashtag #RadiallWebinars. So take a look at our agenda here. We'll be starting with the advantages of rectangular connectors. We'll then move on to a specific Radiall connector series, the EPX series. Then we'll briefly cover the EPX insert range before wrapping it all up and moving to the Q&A section that doesn't exist at the moment in this current format, apparently. All right, so let's get started. Rectangular versus circular, that's our main topic of discussion today. Our two most common talking points when comparing rectangular versus circular connectors is higher contact density, as well as overall space savings. This is provided by the advantage of the slim rectangular shell design. So as technology increases, so does the need for more power and more data. This causes real estate to become a sought-after commodity in the technical realm. Another major advantage is ease of use. The stackable shells do not require additional space for hand tightening or larger spacing to ensure the circular tightening devices can be applied. This reduces the number of tools needed, such as safety wires, which anyone who's ever had to use safety wires knows like they can be a real pain. Hand tightening can also be a real pain, especially when you just can't get the plug past the little red line there. And with rectangular connectors, there are multiple simple tightening mechanisms, including single tool or toolless designs that'll still ensure those critical torquing values without getting your hands all cut up and scratched up trying to get those circular connectors on. So EPX, for reference, is an innovative design developed by Radiall that utilizes the advantages of rectangular connectors. There's two major applications for the EPX series: disconnect and rack and panel. First up is disconnect. The disconnect application is specifically designed with cable to cable or PCB to cable mating in mind. You may be able to see in the disconnect application that the locking system is located on the connector itself. Next is rack and panel. So rack and panel is dedicated to line replaceable units or LRUs. These are commonly seen as the avionics box units typically installed in the avionics bays. The rack and panel series of EPX connectors combines ARINC 600 functionalities with cost, time, and space-saving solutions. The locking feature differs with the rack and panel series, where the mechanism is typically on the box itself. So there's some major differences between rectangular and circular connectors. So let's take a look at one big similarity between the two, and that's going to be accessories. Rectangular connectors have a variety of accessories, and this goes for both the rack and panel and the disconnect applications. There's strain relief to hold the cables, straight, 45 degrees, etc., as well as models dedicated to fiber optics for alignment and increased robustness. There are EMI back shells that allow cable shielding. Several models are available to adapt to harness size and cable type. There's also a ground block option available for a grounded connector, and of course there are polarization options available to avoid mismating. Modularity is another major advantage of rectangular connectors such as the EPX series. With the EPX series, receptacle shells can be pre-installed, which saves time when making wiring. Inserts can be wired on a foreign board and plugged into the receptacle shell later, meaning that it saves time when mounting the whole harness and connecting the shell. Several harnesses can come out from the same shell in different directions. This makes the routing easier in the side business. Another major advantage is the EPX insert itself. So the EPX style insert makes maintenance easy and quick. They can be removed without specific tools from the shell. Once the insert is removed, you can save the shell, only needing a replacement insert. This means if there is a change to design and another insert fits your needs, you need only to order the insert and install it to the existing shell. So here's a look at some of the inserts in the smaller EPX range. These inserts are pretty small, as you can see in the diagram. For frame of reference, you can see an EPX size 8 insert fits a single size 1 coaxial contact. Here we can take a look at some of the EPX size B inserts. You'll see that these inserts have a combination of signal, fiber, and power as well. And here's a few more EPX-B inserts. And there's actually even more inserts than what we've shown here today. If you're curious to see all the available EPX inserts, you can view them in the EPX catalog located on the Radiall website. We're also constantly expanding the line of available inserts as technology advances and needs change. This brings us to our product range. So with our vast range of inserts, layouts, and variety of contacts, we have a solution for your product. Here at Radiall, we continue to innovate and conceive forward-thinking products such as the QM series, featured above, mounted to a unique rail fixation system. The QM series uses the same EPX inserts, making it available to be used in a vast range of applications, but with a quick mating toolless design. This mating feature also helps to save countless hours during installation or removal. Another rectangular design in the works is for line replaceable modules, or LRMs. These systems are becoming more commonplace as they eliminate the traditional step of first removing the system-level avionics blocks, or LRU, that we were talking about earlier, and sending it back to the depot for eventual replacement of a pluggable circuit board. By designing a system around the concept of LRMs and holding spares at the LRM level instead of at the box level, the cost, volume, and weight of spare holdings can be reduced. So today we went over space savings, modularity, Radiall's vast product range. So rectangular connectors look pretty great, right? But what sets Radiall itself apart from other connector companies? Well, I may be a bit biased, but our technical support is second to none. We have product-dedicated field application engineers, such as myself, who have direct and daily contact with engineers who design and build current and future designs. We are available to help you find the exact product or maybe help design a new product that will help fit your needs no matter the size of the project. Our team of engineers can custom design the connector that exactly fits your application. So this ends the presentation portion of the webinar. Normally we would move on to a Q&A. I'm not sure if we were able to get the chat fixed in here. I guess not. So as Reed mentioned before, he had his email. You guys can email him, and you can repeat your email if you want, Reed. And then you guys can also email me as well if you have any questions. I'll give you a second to get a pen and paper or whatever you need to write it down.
Yeah, so far I don't have any questions in my email.
Okay. And if you guys want to email me after the presentation, that's fine as well. My email is going to be matthew.ponto, that's Ponto, at radiall.com.
So Matt, I had a question that maybe everybody else is having too, and doesn't want to ask that question because it's kind of silly if you already know the answer. When it comes to building an insert or building a connector for their customer's application, What things does Radiall take into consideration when we do that?
So that is a good question, and that definitely differs by the project, right? So if you are, say, combining power and fiber in one connector, and you want a certain amount of power connectors, we will go through and make sure that you'll actually be able to get the right amperage and voltage in these connectors without like an arc. So say you wanted 20 connectors and one insert. Well, we have to make sure that that's possible. We don't just throw 20 20 power connectors in one insert and say, oh, that fits, that's fine. We also have to test and, like I said, make sure there's no arcing or any other problems that might cause. So that's one of the big things that we'll pull into it. Another, like I mentioned before, fiber has a really good temperature rating most of the time, right? But you have to make sure that the insert, the shell, all these other things are also going to meet these temperature and vibration ratings. So those are just some of the things that we might look into.
I was hoping that we have a couple of questions pop in the email.
Yeah, it's not as quick, I imagine, having to your email, type up an email, send it over to you, it's probably a bit difficult.
So when we build these custom part numbers, I know that everybody wants to make sure that their customers are protected from their customers' IP. What do we do when it comes to building a customized insert or a customized connector? How do we ensure the customer only receives the part they order and nobody else receives what they order?
Well, one thing is all of our team has been trained to spot these custom part numbers and to be sure that if this is a custom part number, you need to check the TDS and make sure, because we will put the customer's name on there. If the customer's name is on a TDS, then that's the first sign that we need to check and make sure that this is not just for them, right? So our whole team is trained on that and knows how to specifically make sure that there is a LOA, letter of authorization, in place. If a outside builder was building a box for someone, we would still make sure we got an LOA for that company. So everyone's been trained on that, and they know which places to look at to ensure that this special part is only given to that company unless there is a LOA signed on their behalf.
So I have a couple of questions that are rolling in right now. One is concerning shell-to-shell conductivity. How does Radiall rectangulars compare to the 38999?
Do you want to jump on that one, Reed?
Well, I can add to the fact that our connectors they're metallized composites. So shell-to-shell conductivity happens through the metallized composite when they come together. There's also the grounding pins that allow them to be all grounded to one particular location. So in the picture that you see on the left, this is an application where all of the shells go off via the grounding blocks to a lug. So shell-to-shell connectivity happens via a grounding block, which you see in the part of the slide on the right. It also happens with the shell-to-shell connectivity. Anything to add to that, sir?
No, I was just trying to get this picture pulled up for you. I was like, oh, that's a good question. I think we had a picture that kind of showed some of that. So.
Hopefully that answered that person's question. So another one comes in that says, regarding the pricing comparison of circular versus rectangular, how do we compare when it comes to pricing?
Yeah, and that's obviously a good question, right? So, there's some major advantages, obviously with space savings and things like that. So, even at a direct cost comparison, you would be saving in that outcome, right? Just because you'll be able to get a denser application of contacts on a smaller area, right? But to add to that, the ETX for reference is more often than not, and I've never seen it happen in my own personal experience will always be a more cost-effective solution than the 38999s.
One more just came through. Okay, so can you provide OEM insights as to where to target EPX? This person is a regional manager, and a few of the OEMs that come to mind, they have a few that come to mind. They just want to know, perhaps in the future, how many we can reach out to. Do we have, Matt, do we have a specific group that we like to target with these products?
Well, the EPX was specifically designed for commercial avionics. So that is a huge spot that a lot of those consumers or customers are going to be directly sourcing these exact EPX products. But they'll also be more familiar with them as well because, like I said, in the commercial avionics, aerospace industry, there is a lot of use of these connectors. So that is a very common one for the EPX. Though, and you saw with the quick mate and the railing design and those sort of things, that's a newer design. These guys right here, the QM size B. So being able to add these to a rail is, I think, the biggest next step for commercial avionics to get these sort of connectors. But yeah, I would say that is probably the largest consumer for the EPX.
Okay, those were the three top questions there.
Okay. I did share my email. Reed, I don't know if you want to share yours one more time.
Yeah, in case everybody didn't have a pen and paper ready, and you do now, I'll assume that everybody's a yes since we're all muted like we're supposed to be. My email is reed.thomas@radiall.com. Most of the people that are on here know who I am. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but they do know me. You're welcome to send emails after the fact. Send it to Matt or myself or both of us. We can help you out, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Let me give it just one more refresh here, Matt, and see if we have anything else. And if not, I think we'll just call it a day.
All right.
Yeah, there's nothing else. So thank you very much for everybody participating in the first of many Radiall presentations. There will be more to come out. This will be posted to YouTube, like Matt said. We'll also post it on our LinkedIn and likely to Twitter. So if you don't follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter, it's probably a good idea so you can get more information. We're also rolling out some really neat new features for the website that are going to help you and your customers, primarily your customers. So more to come on that. Take a look over at www.radiall.com, and you just might see some of those new features. Thank you for everybody's participation. Matt, phenomenal job. Thank you for doing the presentation as well. And we will see everybody on the next webinar.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.